This is Favors Financial Topics, various topics. So, what are the big five personality traits? Costa and McCrae suggest that personality is structured among five dimensions. They argue that personality traits tend to be bipolar, with some people scoring on diagnostic tests at either extremes, high or low. The following make up the big five. So these are the ones: NEOAC, neuroticism, extroversion, openness to experience, agreeableness, conscientiousness. So we're going to look at the high-low dimensions and how personality traits and high-low dimensions affect our understanding of personal finances, which if we have a bad understanding would contribute to our financial setback, and how we might need to consider personality in terms of financial recovery. So let's look at neuroticism. We have the high-low dimensions here. So if you high, you tend to be anxious, temperamental, self-conscious, emotional, vulnerable. If you low, you tend to be even-tempered, self-satisfied, comfortable, unemotional. So if you are basing your engagement with personal finances and you are anxious, you're going to make anxious-based decisions, right? Every time you use your money, it is coming from a place of fear. That means that something on the inside of you is affecting or getting in the way of you understanding how to solve the problem with that particular personal finance, right? So for example, you may be anxious in the idea that you don't have enough money to pay your rent, right? A very simple understanding. And then you say, well, I'm anxious about that, of course, and so I need to find a way to pay my rent. So I'm going to use I'm going to use the money I already have in the bank, and then I'm going to use part of it with the credit card. And you're saying that you are suggesting that money plus credit card will solve the larger problem with paying your rent, versus saying that making more money or adding more hours or maybe taking a second job would actually solve the problem. Because then, or you're going to do that every month, solve your rent problem with a credit card, right? You may be anxious when it comes to how you deal with the family member. You know, sometimes you would rather pay somebody's rent than to let them come and live with you, right? And I'm sort of like that too. But at the same time, what if you had to do that every month? That they know that they can come to you to get part of their rent or their mortgage because they know that you're going to give it to them. So they are working from a place of an anxiety. They got a rent problem themselves, and then they're going to use you as a solution to solve their rent problem, versus going out and getting another job like you have another job. It's interesting who we give money to. Here it is, we have multiple jobs or we have multiple hustles that we are working on, but the person who is asking us for money refused to get even one job. They want to basically plan their lives and use you to fund their lifestyle. Suppose the person did have a job. Sometimes some people can have a job, but they don't want to use their money. They want to use your money. And how do you deal with that? Do you continue to pay their rent every time? Remember, you have to pay your own rent. You are personally responsible for yourself. If you needed help, could you go to that person? And then that's a place of anxiety too, because unless it is an emergency-based situation, you shouldn't have to go to somebody with your rent. So that anxiety, that anxiousness that you feel in dealing with your personal problems or dealing with the personal problems of others is going to have an impact on your finances, which is going to make you a little temperamental, more self-conscious, emotional, and definitely vulnerable. Because if you are covering everybody else and not yourself, it's going to lead to you losing your place of residence or losing your job or losing anything that you have worked for. And that was one of my problems in the past with people pleasing, which is, I think, another, psychology based issue, that I made sure everybody else was covered and not myself. So sometimes if a person called and they needed rent, well, I had the money because I was getting school money, and so I would give them the money, not asking for it back. And then when I needed the money and I asked them for money, it turned out to be a loan right from them. So it's better to let people handle their finances, and take responsibility, and you not cover them. And you have to make a decision about whether or not your money is a solution for them, because the person who is using your money to fund their lifestyle is a person who is crying wolf. They don't really need money, they just don't want to use their money. So then when you look at the low dimension, where you are calm, even-tempered, self-satisfied, comfortable, unemotional, it's important because when you make decisions about money, you want to do it from a place of calm. The people who are having to make decisions about money because of the building collapse, they can't be calm. There's no way in the world that they can be calm. They are on an anxiety high alert. And so it's hard for them to be calm in the moment. Eventually, however, when things kind of subside and they have grieved over the people that they have lost, the family members that they have lost, and money begins to pour in terms of, GoFundMe pages and things like that, they're going to have to sit down and be calm in how they utilize the money. Because then you have to remember, or you have to understand, that they are homeless. Unless they have other homes, I don't know what the wealth or income levels were for that particular, for the residents of that building. It was on a beach or something, on water. So I'm quite sure those people had a lot of money. But you no longer have a home either. And so now you have to use whatever money you get, insurance money, anything like that, to sort of reboot, and recovery is really far off. And so eventually they're going to have to make logically calm based decisions. That means that they're going to have to really bring in their tempers, be even tempered, right? They're going to have to be self-satisfied wherever they are. A lot of people, when they're trying to recover financially, they want to get back completely what they had before. What I needed was to get a job. I lost my job. I ended up being homeless, had to live with family, things like that. But I was able to return to the job. I wasn't worried about the money I made. I just needed to make sure that I had a job. And so sometimes people will get to a point, well, I mean, it's not like what I had before. What you had before is gone. And you're going to have to be comfortable where you are until you can fully recover financially. And then you're going to have to curb your emotions. That means, I'm not saying you can't cry. You will have to go through a grieving process, as we all do. But you're going to have to work from a place of minimum emotions to get yourself back on track. So this is a good example of applying personal finances, issues with financial setback, and pursuit of financial recovery using the personality trait neuroticism. All right, hopefully you were able to gain some insight from this series topic. Like, subscribe, and visit. Like the video, hit the notification bell for future videos. You can visit my website, which is still in development, reginayfavors.com. You can always email me with a question, reginayfavors@yahoo.com. You will be able to purchase the book by the end of October 2021. I'm hoping that I will have it completed completely revised rather. It is already written and done. I just have to edit it. It is Overcoming Setback, 5 Keys for Entering and Exiting Correction. Thank you for visiting the channel. Coming soon is my new book that I am working on presently and hope to complete by the end of the year, December 2021, preferably February 2022, and that is Favors Financial Recovery, Psychological Approaches to Overcoming Financial Setback with some workbook elements. So it is it will be the book that will support the audio series, although I have developed the audio series prior to actually writing the book. So be on the lookout for this new book. When it comes out, when I finish, I will create an audio introduction to the book. Thank you again for visiting the channel.